Hey everyone, it's Fantayzia. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about my worries about The Sims 4 Horse Ranch with the official gameplay trailer coming tomorrow. I thought it was a good time to talk about it, and maybe when the trailer drops, all these fears will leave my head, or the trailer is gonna further extend these fears, I guess. So I'm very excited for the trailer. I'm actually very excited for the pack itself, but I'm like nerve-sighted. So I did talk a little bit about how the description for the pack wasn't too different from the blog post. I'll go ahead and pull it up for you guys, but I did kind of go over that. It just seemed like they were both very similar, whereas usually the pack description and then the longer description we get afterwards, like when the first trailer drops, usually they're very different when it comes to expansion packs. And this time around, I don't know, I just wasn't getting that much more information, I felt like. And I feel like with this pack, I'm just worried because horses are such a big animal and they take a lot to animate and everything to make them, work seamlessly. This was further proven recently in a video that I did. There was a thread way back, like 2014 or something, from a sim guru talking about how difficult it is to animate horses and cars. And, that kind of made it seem like we are going to get cars as well because now they've done horses years later. But anyways, in that thread, it did explain how difficult it is to animate them. And I am just worried that, a lot of the gameplay is just going to be the horses themselves. And then, a lot of things are going to be cut short when it comes to the pack overall, which an expansion pack is supposed to expand on the whole game, like an expansion, that's why it's called that. And I'm just a little bit nervous, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the pack description and kind of just go over my thoughts with that again, because I just feel like there's not enough going on here. And again, this could be completely, just fears that I have. And then we see the gameplay trailer and it's like, oh my God, there's so much more gameplay than I thought there was. So, that could be the case, but a lot of you guys have been having the same fear as me. So I just wanted to talk about it with you guys today. But first, let's do our notification shout out. And this one goes to Ash Kit Kat. Literally same. If we're going to get cars, I will literally freak out. I need cars in my life. There are so many things I can think of for them. I know some people are all about I don't really see the point in cars because it's a closed world, but me personally, being a hardcore Sims 2 player, I'm like, oh my goodness, please give me cars. They were so much fun. And even in the Sims 3 with the open world, there was still a lot of things you could do with cars that made them a lot of fun, like the fixer-upper cart and stuff. And yeah, I just have a lot of ideas they could do with cars in a closed world. So I really hope that is going to be something that's coming. And now that horses have been done, I feel like a lot of the animations, that are difficult have been succeeded. So that's a good sign. But anyways, thank you for your comment. And if you guys want a chance to be in a notification shout out, all you gotta do is comment down below. So let's go ahead and look at this really fast. So I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this page here. I feel like we've all read it by now, and it just kind of lets us know some stuff about the pack. Make a life, get up early in the morning, look out at the big open countryside. So a lot of the things that they list here, it just doesn't feel like new stuff, obviously, besides the horses, the nectar, and then the mini sheep, mini goats. A lot of the things, of course, they're talking about, it has to do with horses, harvesting grass to feed them, horse manure to fertilize your plants, and then nectar to sell. And then, of course, we're also going to be getting traditional cabins and then big red barns and stuff. So then there's bond with the animals. Again, it's just talking about what we can do with the 3 new animals we're getting. However, another gameplay feature we're getting is cookouts and stuff. So that's really cool. That is something I really like. And then, of course, it looks like we're getting new dances. Besides the animals and then the nectar making, those are a couple other things we're getting. We're going to be able to hire a ranch hand, which is really nice. And then raise horses. This is, again, just talking about the horses, which, of course, this pack is revolved around horses. We're not really hearing much about what else we're going to be getting with this pack. I feel like with cottage living, we actually got a lot of gameplay. Of course, no expansion pack is perfect, and there's always going to be ways that they're lacking. That's just how it's been in The Sims 4. But I do feel like with cottage living, they did a really good job at balancing all of the gameplay. It wasn't just focused on the animals. It wasn't just focused on the festivals. There was a little bit of everything. And I really enjoyed that with cottage living, to be honest. So this one, like I said, I could be wrong. I really hope they're just being very vague with these descriptions. But so what I want to really focus on is how the Saddle Up with the Sims 4 Horse Ranch expansion pack almost has the same information, just in longer form and worded differently. So again, it just says there's no better feeling than coming home to your very own stretch of land inspired by the Great American West. So again, just talking about the nice countryside, simplified like it did with the pack description. And then of course it talks about raising and training the animals, special bonds, life working on a ranch. Again, very similar to what we already read, except we did find out that the world is called Chestnut Ridge, but you know, that's not talking about like more gameplay. And then it just talks about what the world is inspired by and stuff. It tells us a little more detail about horses, but again, nothing else that's new with the gameplay. The only features we really know about, as I've been saying, is horses, mini sheep, mini goats, nectar making. We're gonna have cookouts, we're gonna be able to do breeding, and we're gonna have some new dances, and that seems to be pretty much it. Of course, also with the horses, they can win competitions and things of that sort. I do feel like the horses will be fleshed out, and of course that's what we really want. That's what I'm crossing my fingers for. You know, I really enjoyed how cats and dogs just felt very fleshed out when it came to the animals. So, you know, I want to see that happen again. But again, with cats and dogs, I feel like there was also a lot of other things. I just felt like there was a lot to do. And that was even like a very old expansion pack, which I feel like back in the day, the expansion packs just weren't as good and they like slowly got better, which I guess is another reason that I'm a little bit worried. So a lot of people feel like this should be a game pack. I do think the reason it's an expansion pack is so they could do a full size world so that we could, you know, have room for the horses. And then with the horses being such big animals, I feel like that's another reason it needed to be an expansion pack. Just because I feel like the horses probably took most of the budget for the entire pack, which leads me to my other thought, mini sheep and mini goats. So they're adorable. I love them. I freaked out over them and I still am. Don't get me wrong. However, I couldn't help but think like, why are they mini sheep and mini goats? And other people were pointing this out. And at first, like, I didn't really think I was going to mention it, but then I was like, you know what? This is something to bring attention to because I feel like they kind of cut it short with the sheep and goats because why else would they be mini? And it's not even that they're not babies. So because I mean, babies grow up. That's why they specifically call them mini sheep and mini goats, because they're not going to age up. They're just going to stay small forever. And yes, obviously tiny goats exist, but like, it seems like the reason they did that route is because, of course, the budget, and they just kind of, I don't know. It just basically, I don't want to like come off like complaining because I might not even care that they're mini sheep and mini goats when I'm playing, but just seeing these pictures and like what we read and stuff, I can't help but feel like I would love if the sheep would grow up and, you know, they would be like full size. And obviously with the horses, we get to have baby horses and also grown horses. So why didn't they do that with the sheep and goats? But I think it's just kind of like cutting corners, and we see that a lot with packs. So that's where like I feel like I'm a little concerned just because like straight off the bat with the first screenshots we ever saw and stuff, it just seems like we're seeing things that are cutting corners. And then I also want to talk about the create a sim. So the create a sim, I love the clothes. It's not necessarily my style at all. Like it's actually completely opposite of something that I would usually love, but because it goes with the ranch style, that's why I enjoy the items, because I feel like they really fit with the world and I feel like I will get use out of them a lot when I'm playing with Horse Ranch. However, for like everyday use with my Sims who aren't living there, I probably won't really use anything, maybe like a couple items. So that's kind of an downside, but I want the create a sim to fit the pack. So like I'm happy with the clothes. I have to say that. That might change when I actually see the items when I do my full create a sim review, but just from like seeing the items from a distance in the catalog and like the little pictures we've seen, and then of course the clothes we've seen in the trailer, I don't know, I think it goes really well with the world. But the hair, you guys. So when the catalog was released on the EA app and we got to see all the items that are coming, the hair, I did mention how it just feels like it's like hair we've already gotten, but like recycled and like changed a little bit. I don't know. Let me know if you guys agree with that. I've already seen some people say that they feel like the hair just seems like very similar to hair we've gotten in the past. And I don't know if they're running out of ideas for hairs or what it is, but I would have loved to see just a variety of hairs that look different. I totally feel like, you know, there's still other options they could have done. Like with custom content, there is like an endless amount of different types of hairstyles. So I'm kind of disappointed about that. But again, I'll see them in game myself and kind of figure out how I feel about them. But I don't know. I definitely think from those little icons we got to see with the catalog, I'm not going to be that excited about the hair. Don't get me wrong, I like the hair, but like it's just underwhelming. And lastly, I want to talk about the whole unicorn dilemma. So I don't think we're getting unicorns with this pack. I really don't. Like I got really excited when we saw the catalog, but I do think that it's just going to be something we can put on our horses. Like I think it's going to be a thing where you can make them look like a unicorn. I did mention that like it seems like an accessory, and then some of you guys did point out it doesn't look like an accessory though. It actually looks like it's like growing out of their head, which it does. But when I say accessory, I'm talking like, I don't mean like a headband. I'm talking like accessory as in it's just like a fake thing that you can add to your horse to make them look like a unicorn. Because we also saw in the behind the Sims that we can make colorful horses. So, you know, I think what they're going for here is just kind of like cats and dogs, where if you want to make like a magical looking dog, you can do that. I think it's going to be like that. I feel like they're going to have the horns there and you're going to be able to make your pink and purple horse and then they're just going to look like a unicorn. I don't think there's going to be actual unicorns. I'm not seeing that happening. If I'm wrong, then oh my gosh, I will jump for joy, but I just don't see that. And again, I feel like it's like cutting corners. If they're going to give us unicorns with something like fairies, that would be really cool. But if we're not getting them at all, again, I just feel like that should be something that should be in Horse Ranch then, because it is an expansion pack. But yeah, you guys, those are my thoughts. I'm just a little concerned and I'm worried there's going to be one of those things where it's really exciting to play, but then you get bored of it really fast. And of course, you can use horses all the time in your gameplay, but it's like, you know, if horses are the only thing that we continue to use a lot, then I just feel like that could have been a game pack. But then again, like I said, I feel like the only reason it's an expansion is because they had to give us a full-size world for the horses, and then horses are like a big animal. So that might not necessarily fit into a game pack. So then I feel like you run into this thing where it's like, I don't know, they couldn't exactly make it a game pack for those reasons, but then making an expansion pack means that it might kind of feel dull and lackluster. So I feel like that's where you run into issues with horses, which is why I just wish we got horses with like either like, honestly, I just wish we got the Sims for pets. Like that's how I wish it was, because I don't necessarily think that these things fit in cottage living. Like, to be honest, I actually feel like cottage living is a very different style of gameplay. So I can see why they didn't do that. Like it's very like cottage, where this is like ranch life. I don't know. I do like that those are separated. So I'm not mad at that. I just feel like we should have just got a pets expansion pack and just had everything. So that's kind of where I stand on that. I feel like in the past, I've definitely gone back and forth because it's kind of hard. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, no, I'm glad that like we got farm animals separate because then they're more like fleshed out. But then when I think about the farm animals in cottage living, I'm like, are they fleshed out? You know, they're kind of like attached to things. So, you know, the chickens can kind of roam free more, which I love. And I mean, I love the farm animals in that pack. That was not an issue for me. But yeah, so then I'm like, okay, they're not that fleshed out. So I feel like they could have just been in a pets pack and then just have horses in that as well. I don't know, you guys. I'm just like nervous, I guess. I really, really hope this is going to be a pack that adds more than I think it's going to, but it just doesn't seem that way right now. But to make a full opinion, of course, I'm going to wait for the gameplay trailer, and I'm also going to wait until I can play it on my own. But I just wanted to discuss this with you guys. So comment down below, how are you guys feeling? I do want to say, like, this does not mean I'm not excited. Like, trust me, I'm excited. When I see that gameplay trailer, I already know I'm going to be like, oh my God. Honestly, though, I'm like, wait, what if I'm going to be underwhelmed? I'm just nervous. Like, I want to be excited, you guys. Like, that is my favorite thing. I get overly excited about Sims 4 packs. So when things concern me, it really sucks because like I'm someone who just gets very happy about anything Sims related. It's my favorite game. So yeah, it always sucks when I'm just like nervous about how something might be. It's kind of reminding me of high school years, except for high school years, it was the other way around. I actually thought it was going to be way more than it was. I still love things about high school years, but when I was doing my first early videos, there was a lot of things I pointed out that I was just like, oh, I thought there was going to be more to this. Again, that's the type of pack to me that I felt like I couldn't do a full let's play on. So I just did some gameplay videos and that was it. And I'm kind of concerned that this is going to be the same way. I might try to do a let's play, but I don't really know how that's going to be. So I guess when it comes to high school years, I thought that was going to have way more, and then it kind of had less than I thought it would. And then for this pack, it seems like it's not going to have enough, and then maybe I'll be surprised and it'll actually have more than I think. Maybe it'll kind of be like the reverse of high school years. So I guess we'll have to see. Fingers crossed. But what are you guys thinking? Comment down below. With that said, I'm going to wrap this up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.